So you look at a starting lineup, right, and you see Kylian Mbappe, Ousmane Dembele, Michael Olise, and Desiree Doué all stepping onto the pitch.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you naturally just expect a certain script to play out.
Exactly. Like, the heavy favorite shows up, they flex this immense attacking muscle early on, and the underdog puts up a brave fight but eventually folds.
Right. The natural order of global football just asserts itself, especially at a venue like MetLife Stadium. You've got, what, 82,000 fans there for the opening match of the 2026 World Cup?
Yeah, exactly 82,000.
So you expect them to show up, assert tactical superiority, and just send this definitive message to the rest of the tournament.
But then, the referee actually blows the whistle.
And the script goes completely out the window.
Generally shreds it. I mean, today we're looking at a 3-1 victory for France over Senegal that is honestly the definition of a split personality.
Oh, without a doubt. If you're just glancing at that final scoreline, it tells you absolutely nothing about the tactical disaster we saw for the first hour.
Right, which is exactly why we're doing this deep dive today. We want to figure out how a team that looked, frankly, structurally broken for 60 minutes ends up making international history by the final whistle.
And we've got some great sources to pull from to figure that out.
We do. We're tearing into a huge stack of coverage. We've got match reports from The Guardian, deep tactical breakdowns from FX Sports and CBS Sports, plus that really crucial regional context from CCAF Online and Al Jazeera, and, of course, the broadcast stats from BNS Sports.
Yeah, and reconciling those two wildly different halves really is the central mystery here.
So let me pose this to you and to everyone listening. How does that happen? How do they look that lost and then pull off a historic win?
Well, to understand the tension that was just, visibly suffocating that stadium in New Jersey, you can't just look at a whiteboard. You really have to rewind the clock.
Oh, right, because of 2002.
Exactly. Al Jazeera's coverage heavily emphasized this. I mean, the history between these two nations, you just can't ignore the ghosts hovering over this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, you've got two nations bonded by, 300 years of really complex, often painful history. But even on just a purely sporting level, you go back 24 years to the 2002 World Cup in South Korea.
Right. France came in as the defending world champions.
Universally viewed as invincible, honestly. And Senegal was making their World Cup debut.
And they stunned them. 1-0. Papa Bouba Diop with that famous goal.
Still one of the greatest shocks in the history of the sport.
And the thing is that history isn't just some abstract talking point for journalists. It's literally living on the touchline. Like the current Senegal coach, FairPlay, he was on the bench as a player during that upset in 2002.
Wait, really? I didn't even realize that.
Yeah. Plus, you have 10 players in this current Senegal squad who were born in France, raised in the French academy system.
Wow. So that's a massive psychological weight.
Huge.
Yeah.
It completely alters how these guys process the game in real time.
Which makes sense, because if you're watching those first 45 minutes at MetLife, you're honestly wondering if 2002 is happening all over again.
Oh, it looked like a total repeat early on.
I was reading through the Guardian's coverage, right? And their reporter on the ground did not hold back at all.
What did they call him?
A quote-unquote disjointed mess.
Honestly, that might be generous.
Right. I mean, you look at that superstar front four, and they played like guys who had literally met in the stadium parking lot an hour before kickoff.
Yeah, the advanced metrics from CBS Sports really highlight just how uniquely terrible they were. In the entire first half, France generated an expected goals and XG of exactly 0.02.
Okay, for anyone listening who just looks at the sheer math of that, that means the singular shot France managed to take in 45 minutes had a 2% probability of going in.
2% from a team with the reigning Ballon d'Or winner.
It's insane. Producing 0.02 expected goals with that attacking quartet is a total statistical anomaly.
Just to put that into perspective, the last time a French national team produced so little offense in a first half at a World Cup was the 2022 final against Argentina.
Oh, where they got completely overrun for 70 minutes.
Exactly. And, the Guardian reporter actually documented a moment in the 4th minute that I think perfectly captures the chaos.
Oh, I know exactly which moment you're talking about.
Right. Kylian Mbappe is trying to receive this really simple pass from Adrien Rabiot, and he miscontrols it with, and I'm quoting here, his ass cheek.
I remember seeing that live and just thinking, what is happening? And it wasn't an isolated slip either. He suffered these incredibly heavy touches, just giving the ball away over and over in the middle of the pitch.
Yeah, you could literally hear the French press box groaning through the broadcast microphones.
It was so bad. You had Michael Olise roaming blindly from the right flank all the way to the opposite side, just trying to get a touch. Dembele and Mbappe are throwing their arms up at each other.
Completely out of sync.
Yeah.
Just a collection of brilliant individuals in desperate search of a cohesive idea.
Which, I mean, requires us to look directly at the manager, Didier Deschamps.
Oh, absolutely. He sent them out in a formation that leaned super heavily toward a 4-2-4.
Which, look, when I see that 4-2-4, it feels like a manager putting together this supergroup band, right? And every single member wants to play a 5-minute raging guitar solo.
Right, exactly.
And they've completely left the midfield stranded without a rhythm section. It just creates this massive void in the center of the pitch.
And that void is exactly why the system failed. I mean, when you play a 4-2-4 against a well-drilled opponent, you're basically asking your two central midfielders, Tchouaméni and Rabiot in this case, to cover an impossible amount of geography.
So if the front four aren't pressing, the other team just walks right through.
Precisely. The opponent just walks the ball into the midfield. Tchouaméni and Rabiot were constantly outnumbered, just totally exposed.
But let me push back on this a bit, or at least ask the question. Deschamps obviously has the problem every coach dreams of, right? Too much attacking talent.
A good problem to have, usually.
Usually, but FOX Sports pointed out that by playing Mbappe, Dembélé, Elise, and Doué all at once, Deschamps basically deliberately sacrificed his tactical shield.
Yeah, he did.
Because Mbappe is notorious for not pressing. FOX noted he had fewer interceptions in La Liga last season than some goalkeepers.
It's true. He doesn't defend.
So was France really just having an off day, or did Deschamps set them up to fail by prioritizing overwhelming flair over balance? Isn't that a managerial failure?
I'd call it structural arrogance. You know, you assume your sheer talent will overcome basic geometry.
Oh, yeah.
But France's midfield wasn't just collapsing on its own. It was being systematically dismantled.
Right. Which brings us to Senegal.
Exactly, the true architects of this chaos.
And this is where we have to address this huge narrative trap in international football. People tend to treat certain African nations or underdogs as these plucky Cinderella stories, like they just run hard and hope for the best.
Which is so disrespectful.
It really is. And FOX Sports was adamant about this. Throw that narrative in the trash. Senegal is an elite, top-tier footballing machine.
They are not punching above their weight. They are fighting exactly at their weight class. I mean, you look at their roster. These guys earn their living in the most ruthless domestic leagues on earth.
You've got Nicholas Jackson leading the line, who plays for Bayern Munich.
Yep.
Ismaila Sarr tormenting fullbacks every week at Crystal Palace. Guys at Everton, Tottenham, Monaco, Villarreal. 7 Premier League players in this squad alone.
Anchored by battle-tested veterans like Sadio Mane, Koulibaly, Edouard Mendy.
So from a tactical perspective, how did Pape Thiaw deploy all that talent to expose France?
Well, what's fascinating is they didn't just sit back in a low block. They didn't park the bus and pray for a draw.
Which is what you'd typically expect an underdog to do against France.
Right. Instead, they utilized this highly coordinated mid-block with very specific pressing triggers. The exact moment the ball went to those isolated French midfielders, Senegal's wingers and center mids just collapsed on them.
Suffocating them.
Suffocating Rabiot and Tchouaméni. They'd steal the ball and counter with absolute venom straight into the spaces the French fullbacks had left empty.
Just systematically cutting through them. And that dominance led to some truly heart-stopping moments. Senegal didn't just control the tempo, they created the golden chances of the half.
Oh, absolutely.
Like when Nicholas Jackson unleashed that ferocious shot, cleanly beats Mike Mignon, and it just violently crashes off the post.
I thought that was in.
Me too. And then we get to the pivotal moment right before halftime. Sadio Mane glides through this totally static French defense, draws the keeper, and sets up Ismaila Sarr with what is functionally an open net.
And Sarr inexplicably blazes it over the crossbar.
I mean, how does that happen?
It was a monumental let-off for France. If Senegal goes into the locker room up 1-0 deep into stoppage time against a totally rattled French team, I mean, the entire complexion of Group A changes instantly.
Sarr's miss was basically a lifeline that Deschamps absolutely did not deserve.
Totally unearned.
But it makes me wonder, when a team like Senegal completely dominates, but then a player like Sarr misses an open net, is that just bad luck? Or is there a psychological weight there, like a sudden fear of actually slaying the giant that makes your mechanics break down?
Honestly, psychology undeniably plays a role at this elite level. We talked about the ghosts of 2002 haunting France, but Senegal feels that immense pressure to live up to that legacy too.
Right. They know what's at stake.
And the adrenaline of outplaying the favorites can make the goal look very, very small when that defining touch is needed. But zooming out, it just shows the sheer cruelty of World Cup margins.
Yeah, they executed perfectly until the final half second.
And at this level, if you have your foot on the throat of a giant and you refuse to apply that final ounce of pressure.
The giant wakes up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Senegal let them retreat to the locker room at 0-0, which gave Deschamps a 15-minute window to diagnose the problem and fix the puzzle he had scrambled in the first place.
Right, and this is where you kind of see why Deschamps is aiming to be the most successful World Cup coach ever. A lesser manager, panics there, right, makes 3 massive substitutions.
Oh, a lesser manager totally blazed up the lineup.
But Deschamps didn't change his personnel at all. He made this subtle yet devastating tactical adjustment.
Let's break down the mechanics of what he actually did, because they came out looking like a completely different team.
So what was a tweak?
He literally just swapped the roles of his wingers. He moved Michael Olise from the right flank into the center, operating as a traditional number 10, and pushed Ousmane Dembélé out wide to the right.
Just rotating 2 puzzle pieces by 90 degrees, basically.
Yeah, but the spatial implication of that is profound. By moving Olise centrally, Deschamps built a bridge. Remember that ocean of space in the first half?
A void between the defense and the attackers, yeah.
Right. Olise becomes the connective tissue in that ocean. So instead of Rabiot trying to hit a 40-yard pass under intense pressure, he suddenly has a safe 10-yard option.
Neutralizing Senegal's press.
Exactly. Olise is now occupying the exact space Senegal was using to launch their counterattacks.
So suddenly, the geometry of the pitch actually works for France. Olise is dropping into pockets, receiving on the half-turn, linking the midfield to the attack. And the intensity dials up instantly.
You know, there was some serious drama before the actual breakthrough.
Oh, the VAR moment.
Yeah. Right before the hour mark, Mané slides in on Mbappe inside the box. Referee Alireza Fagani appears to give a penalty, goes to the monitor, and then controversially overturns his own decision.
Gives a goal kick instead. And Deschamps is absolutely raging on the touchline.
But look at the psychological response from the players. Instead of letting that perceived injustice derail them, it seemed to just ignite a fire under Mbappe.
Yeah, BN Sports had a great timeline on this. It took precisely 6 minutes for Mbappe to channel that frustration into a goal.
And that goal was the direct product of Deschamps' tactical tweak.
We see it perfectly. Olise spins into space centrally, the space he wasn't in during the first half, looks up, and threads this beautiful, perfect diagonal pass against the grain of the defense.
And Mbappe times his run to the millisecond, whips his body around the ball, drives a low, clinical strike past Mendy.
1-0 France. The deadlock is broken.
And that goal, it was more than just the turning point. It was historic.
Right, because that was his 57th international goal, which tied him with Olivier Giroud as France's all-time leading men's scorer.
Which is just incredible. And once that tactical walk was picked, the dam just completely broke.
Yeah, it shifted from this tense tactical battle into an exhibition of just pure historic individual brilliance, and not just from the veterans.
The young guys really stepped up. The depth of that French squad is frankly terrifying.
Deschamps brings on Bradley Barcola, right? This young talent making his World Cup debut. You wonder if the stage is too big for him.
And then what happens?
Literally 131 seconds after stepping onto the pitch, Barcola gets on the end of a sequence from Rabiot and just delicately chips Mendy to make it 2-0.
Incredible composure.
But Senegal didn't capitulate, to their credit.
No, they pushed back. They found a reward in stoppage time. This 18-year-old winger, Ibrahim Membe, blasts a stunning goal from a super tight angle to make it 2-1.
Which made him the youngest African scorer in World Cup history. Right?
Yep, 18 years and 143 days old.
An amazing achievement. And for a second, you think, okay, late chaotic drama, here we go.
But that hope lasted, what, a minute?
Exactly 68 seconds, because Mbappe just decides the match is over, the ball breaks to him 30 yards out, and he just unlooses this ferocious, swerving shot, completely paralyzes Mendy. 3-1, game over.
And history is rewritten again. That was international goal number 58. He officially overtakes Giroud to stand entirely alone at the top.
And the stats on this are mind-bending. FLX Sports pointed out he got this record in just 99 caps. Giroud needed a 137.
He also passed Just Fontaine for France's all-time World Cup goals with 14. He's only 2 away from Miroslav Klose's global record.
The velocity of his scoring is just staggering. But I have to challenge this a bit, because Matteo Bonetti at FLX Sports highlighted this paradox.
The Mbappe paradox.
Exactly. He is practically invisible, even a structural hindrance to his team for 45 minutes, yet he walks off as the greatest scorer in their history. Does this prove he's the ultimate clutch genius, or does it highlight a dangerous reliance where France just hopes he bails them out of bad managerial setups?
Honestly, the tactical reality suggests it's a terrifying mix of both. I mean,
Right.
Deschamps called him ruthlessly efficient post-match.
Yeah.
He can be totally absent from the build-up, but fatally decisive in the final third.
Which is the definition of clutch.
Right. But relying on that as your main tactical strategy, that's playing with fire.
Yeah.
If your setup leaves the midfield exposed and your star doesn't track back, you're just gambling that your isolated moments of brilliance will outscore the opponent's sustained dominance.
Yeah, because if Ismail Assar finishes that open net in the 45th minute, France relying on Mbappe doesn't look heroic. It looks like a catastrophic failure of management.
Precisely. The result validates Deschamps, but the process should absolutely terrify their analytical department.
Synthesizing all of this, I think there's a fundamental takeaway here for all of us, even outside of football. It's this concept of winning in third gear.
Yeah, I like that.
Like, you don't always have to be perfect from the jump. Sometimes survival is just about staying disciplined, making the right micro adjustments, like moving a guy 15 yards horizontally when things look bleak, and then trusting your skills when the moment arrives.
Because structural arrogance will get you beat, but clinical execution can save you. France survived because they have players who bend probability, not because they played a good 90 minutes.
Which leaves us with a really provocative thought as we look ahead to the rest of 2026. If France can look this disjointed, rely entirely on flair, ride their luck against the post in an open net, and still win 3-1 against an elite Senegalese machine.
What happens when they actually put together a full 90-minute performance?
Yeah.
I mean, their ceiling might be insurmountable for the rest of the world.
Or, more dangerously for them, is this reliance on talent overbalance a ticking time bomb? Because you can't give Spain, Germany, or Argentina an XG of 0.02 and expect to survive.
Oh, absolutely not. Eventually, those flaws result in a clean break that individual brilliance just can't repair.
Keep your eyes on how these managers adjust when the margins get tighter, everyone. And always look past the final scoreline. Keep questioning the script.